So it seems that order management challenges might not always show up with obvious problems. More often than not, they're going to start as these really small frustrations that are going to slowly affect your entire operation as time goes on. But before we get to that point, I'd love if you could clue us in on what some of the common signs are that management on, your order or your job isn't working as well as it should.
The expected answer for that would probably be I ask you where a job is and you can't answer. Like that seems pretty obvious. I think there are some hidden answers to this question, though. Like, for instance, is your inventory costing you more because you have to get it there quickly because you took an order and you don't have what you need to make it happen, right? So thinking about order demand, if you don't know what it is, you don't know what to stock. Are you spending, we've had people come to us who are spending a ton on overnight freight. Right? They're overnighting things because they didn't get it done in time and they have to get it to the customer as fast as possible, or they need to get it from their supplier to them as fast as possible. When you see those kinds of what I'll call extraneous fees rising, that's probably a pretty good indication that you don't know what you need to do your orders, where your orders are, or when they're going to get somewhere because you're rushing at the end.
Yeah, I can see how those issues don't stay contained for very long and how they can kind
Right.
of build up to kind of impact much more than just your initial order entry. So,
Absolutely.
how do some of those issues actually then in turn impact the rest of the business when we really look at your business sort of as an entire entity?
Well, I'll go back to an earlier video where we talked about the black hole effect, right? So if you don't know what happens between the time that that order was placed and when it goes out the door, and if you're running into some shipping deadlines, so you're pushing it out the door as fast as possible, chances are that higher that your team has made an error, not done something that the customer asked for, forgot to put something into the box. There's this ability to make greater mistakes when you're rushing things or when you don't have all the information. Everything you do may become reactive to the situation that's on the floor. So you may be shorting something or doing something slightly different, sort of that what I call hammer to fit methodology, just to get it out, right? And that's what your team is built to do. That production team is built to get the thing out the door. They're not built to give you all the data that you need to make sure that it was done properly before it gets out the door. And the last thing you want is for your customer to be the one to tell you that you have a problem. Like, I received this from you late, wrong, broken, right? That's not a good sign. And that's really the impact that you start to see, are those things that are a couple of layers down, really hard to put your finger on.
Yeah, that's great insight. So, if a manufacturer then is suspecting, if some of these things sound familiar and they might be suspecting that they have an order management problem, how can they actually confirm it? What does that actually tangibly look like then?
To me, I want to know that when an order is done and that their job is done, and that could be I completed it or I canceled it, wherever it is, I want to know that when an order is done, I can get all the information I need on that order. What happened to it? How did it do? Where did it go right or wrong in the process? Because if I can keep a historical record of all of those things, then I'm pretty sure that in the moment, I could also get you that information. And that's really what I think is the most important for manufacturers, is that in the moment that you have the question, you can get the answer to whatever question you might have. But the only way to really measure that is to know that a week from now, I could ask the same question and get the same answer because that information is stored somewhere, that it was literally really keeping track of everything that was happening.
So it sounds like then when information breaks down, that the effects are going to slowly be felt across your entire business, all the way,
Mhm.
from your standard production and your order entry and scheduling, all the way down to how it affects your actual customers and their experience as well. So it seems like even small improvements that you can make in this area are going to have a really big difference.
Absolutely. And if you do it on order after order, you get that multiplicative effect, right? That every time I pick this up, I'm doing it better. So I'm making money or I'm saving profit every single time. That's really, really, really impactful for a manufacturer.